Hey guys, Brian Rector, head football coach at Centennial High School here. Welcome to the CougarNation.com. Thanks a bunch for visiting. Coach's preview time here for the week of August 27th. We have a game this Friday versus I would like to say it's a crosstown rival, but truth be told, it probably hasn't been much of a rival in the history of the two teams playing. We play the Franklin Rebels. The school has yet to have a victory against Franklin, so we're doing everything that we can to see if that can't happen on Friday night. Should be an exciting atmosphere. We feel like we have a pretty good team. The Rebels got a great win versus Hendersonville last week, bouncing back from a first week 0 loss to Siegel. So they really are feeling good about themselves. I think Centennial as a program, we're feeling pretty decent about where we are as well. So you should probably expect one heck of a football game on Friday night. As a preview in general, I brought in a special guest to talk about the other team's defense. Coach Brett Taveau was talking about our summary from last week's game versus Overton. He stuck around to talk about what we should expect to see from Franklin High School in particular on their defensive side of the ball. Coach?
Looking at a couple games on them, you see a totally different team from the first game to the second game. Versus Siegel, they had a lot of bad things happen to them in that first half, and things kind of snowballed on them. So we don't look at that score. I believe the score was a lot too little. But we don't look at that score and say, okay, this is not a very good football team, because we watch the Hendersonville tape and see that they got a lot better from, I guess it'd be week 0 to week 1. They play a lot of young guys on defense. I think they're rotating 5 or 6 sophomores in, but they're good young players. And they're going to continue to get better and better every week. So the message to the offense this week has been, we just got to take care of the football. We've got to execute, and we've got to try to be balanced and stay ahead of the sticks and see and just go out and play football like we did Friday night. We came out, not to touch on last week anymore, we came out relaxed and we came out focused, and we got to do the same thing here. Got to do the same thing if we want to be successful versus Franklin offensively.
Yeah. Okay, Coach, I appreciate that very much. Coach is right. The keys to the game, especially the one I like that he said, was taking care of the football. We were, average at that. Last Friday night we had a fumble, and then we dropped, I would say, at least 3 passes, probably 4 that we could have really come up with. We've got to do a better job at executing in that area so that we can stay ahead of the sticks. And that's what's important about a team like Franklin, is that they are very tough defensively. Coach Webb does an amazing job with the defensive side of the ball and just in general, but that, I believe, is a specialty. And the kids play very hard and are very sound. And that's what you don't get out of them, is you don't get them out of position or unsound very often. So you will have to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves. And they do that in all phases of the game. So what we will have to do is make plays. There's no doubt about it. Their offense versus our defense, they have a couple of very good running backs. In fact, we've seen 3 really good running backs on film. A couple didn't play last week. They had some injuries. They'll probably be back this week. But number 21 has a great hips, really good feet, and some speed to boot. He had scores from 90, somewhere around 40, and then somewhere around 30 last week against Hendersonville. So he's a big playmaker. Number 4 wide receiver is a big threat. He's tall, athletic, can run. Their quarterback is young, but he is going to be a good one. There is no question about that. And in fact, I think I maybe have mentioned that I'm glad I'm playing them early, because number 10 at quarterback is going to be a really good football player. So we have to hope that we don't catch him really in his stride right now. We hope that his stride is later in the season rather than earlier to give us maybe a better chance of winning. They have a balanced offense between pass and run. I think it's very balanced. You'll see several formations, not a ton, but you'll see several formations to where they can run the ball inside, run the ball on the perimeter, and then get the ball out on the edges in the screen game to their athletes. They're not opposed to throwing the ball deep necessarily. They certainly have the people to do it. So what they make you do, in short, is defend every piece of the field, from sideline to sideline, from A-gap to D-gap, etc. So we can't be out of gap. And so the keys to winning the football game really overall is probably take care of the football, number one. Number two is defensively, we've got to pursue correctly, because if you allow their really good running backs to cut, they will get the cut and then they can be gone. So we've got to pursue correctly and fit our gaps the right way so that we can make them run more east and west as opposed obviously to north and south. We need to focus on the little things this week. Sometimes with a big rivalry, what you can do is get things so hyped up that you forget about some little things that make a huge difference in the game, like snapping the ball to your punter, or blocking the guy the right way on a punt team, or ball security, as we've mentioned a couple of times now. The little things have to really get done to their greatest degree for us this week in order for us to win this football game. We'll be ready. The kids will be ready. I know the Rebels will be ready as well. So, the only question is, will you as a fan be ready and come on out and make it happen? We hope so, because we feel like it's going to be a great atmosphere. I want to thank you for joining us again this week on the CougarNation.com, and hopefully we'll be back next week with some good news. Until then, thanks a bunch and have a great week.